I finished reading volume one of Stars of Chaos and I'm excited for the rest of the series. I really liked volume one and I'm enjoying the story so far. I like the characters and the world that the story is set in. The alternative history with technology that is powered by this volatile fuel called violet gold is pretty interesting. The fuel powers their airships, which are called giant kites, regular ships, their armor, and weapons. The fuel can also be used to power puppets that can be used for training purpose, agriculture, or as guards. It can also power things that can make everyday life easier. There is a scarcity issue with violet gold, so because of that, it is tightly controlled and rationed. It's a geopolitical asset the way oil is for our modern world. Also, Great Leong has to import violet gold in as it's not found there, at least not enough to meet their needs. If people want to use violet gold, they need to get approval from the imperial court or try their luck with the black market. The story starts with Kongung living in a northern border town with his abusive mother and his stepfather, who is kind to him but is never around because he is always gone for work. He also lives with the Shen brothers. The brothers live in a neighboring courtyard on the property. This is because Kongung had once ran away and was attacked by a pack of wolves, and the brothers saved him. His stepfather was so grateful that he gave them the courtyard to live in and also named one of the brothers as Kungung's godfather. Kungung gets along with them well and is also fond of his godfather. However, Kungung's reality implodes. He finds out that his abusive mother is actually his maternal aunt. And the reason why she was so abusive and tried to off him so many times is because she hates his father. Kongung is the child that the emperor had with the noble consort, and the noble consort was the goddess of the abusive aunt's homeland. And the goddess was given over to the emperor after the 18th tribe signed a treaty with the emperor. He's also learning all of this as a revolt is happening that his aunt also helped to start. He finds out he's been given a poison that will slowly drive him insane. He also finds out that the Shen brothers are not actual brothers, but members of the Black Iron Battalion. They had been sent by the Emperor to find the fourth prince, but the reason why they were there for 2 years after finding Kungung was because they had already found information about a rebellion and stayed to investigate. And his godfather is a man named Guyun, who is actually the leader of the Black Iron Battalion, and the other guy, Shen Yi, serves under him. Kung had always suspected that his aunt was never his actual mother, and when he thought about it, there were things about the Shen brothers that was odd. However, he doesn't believe that he is a prince. He thinks that he is just a kid that was found to trick them. Shen Yi tells Kung that he has a deformed toe just like the emperor and the emperor's children, but Kung refutes this because he remembers his aunt breaking his toe when he was younger. Kungung also looks a lot like the noble consort. However, he refused to believe that he is in fact a prince. He's also pretty upset with Guyun, but he still cares about him a lot. When Guyun later tells Kungung that he won't abandon him, things do get better. He ends up going to the capital with Guyun and Shenyi. He also brings two of his friends along, Ge Pengxiao and Zhao Nyingzi. He sees the emperor who is dying, and the emperor leaves Kungung in Guyun's care. Guyun and the emperor also talk privately because the emperor had taken Guyun in when he was younger after his parents had died. Even though he did show Guyun kindness, they do have a complicated history. Kungung and his friends move into Guyun's home, and Guyun pretty much leaves them to themselves, but later starts helping Kungung with his martial arts training and gets him a puppet to train with. And he's doing all this in between his own work because the new emperor, Kungung's older brother, is sending Guyun away back to the northern border. Kungung initially didn't know, but when he does find out later, he wants to go. Guyun doesn't want that and actually lies to him when he does leave because he didn't want Kungung to follow him. Kungung is really upset by this, and this is when he really starts to feel the effects of the poison that's supposed to slowly drive him mad. He already suffers from nightmares because of this poison, but this is when he really starts to feel the full effect of the poison. Over a year goes by before they see each other again, and in this time, Kungung has been training and keeping up with his studies, but he's also been hanging out with Leon Run, who is a mute monk from the temple. Kungung and his friends also sneak away so that they can go traveling with Liao Ran. The emperor doesn't really bother with Kungung, so he doesn't really care much about this, but is jealous that he can't go traveling too because he is a devout Buddhist. Guyung, on the other hand, is pissed off. He already doesn't like the temple, so he's not happy that Kunggung is traveling with a monk from there. Guyun leaves his post with some of his men to go find them. When he does, he also finds signs of another revolt that is being prepared. As it turns out, Lian Ran is a member of the Ling Yuan Pavilion, which is an organization that only shows itself during times of turmoil and is quiet during times of peace. They put an end to everything before a revolt can actually happen. Guyun also tries to set it up so that the emperor doesn't know about his involvement, but also thinks that Kungung was very helpful in ending everything. Unfortunately, Guyun and Kungung get into a disagreement because Kungung wants to go out into the world, but Guyun wants him in the capital, if not with him in the northwest border. Also, someone sends a second memorial to the emperor, which has the truth of what actually happened. I really like both Kunggung and Guyun's characters. Kunggung is dealing with imposter syndrome as he doesn't believe that he is the fourth prince. He was also worried about being abandoned by Guyun and feels like he is a burden that the late emperor put onto Guyun. Kunggung is also struggling with the feelings that he has for Guyun and has been hiding the fact that he was poisoned as a child. Guyun really does care for Kunggung. He was sad when he saw how much Kunggung had grown since he was gone, and he realizes he doesn't have much time left before Kungung's coming of age ceremony. Guyun is a really interesting character. He's actually deaf and blind. He takes a special medicine so that he will be able to hear and see, but it only lasts up to a couple of days. His father was harsh with him when he was young so that he could overcome his impairments. So, because of this, his other senses are heightened, and he's also very observant. However, he also does hide the fact that he is deaf and blind, and not many people know. I also really like his personality. I'm looking forward to seeing how both of their stories go as the story continues.